maybe their toughest remaining test Thursday night against a Cal team needing every win to get in. This game was in Oakland, and it was a 2-point game in the second half, 62-60. Cal is up. Damon Stoudemire hits the shot, but look at his face. He's pained and he's tired. Cal, the young legs running all the way up the floor, and Akili Jones with the hoop. Cal leads by 4. Now 22 seconds left. Arizona down 2. Gerard Haas the pass to KJ Roberts. Doesn't take the shot he should have. The turnover gives Arizona a chance back the other way. But watch, as Stoudemire drives, the denial on the defense by Kidd, and the charging foul to boot. Last chance, the 3 to tie it. It comes up short. Jason Kidd, who really led this game for Cal. In the late moments of the game, he made all the right decisions. Sometimes his teammates didn't make the right decisions, but the celebration was on, and rightfully so, as Cal stops the longest winning streak in the nation at 19, and just a massive win for the Bears. And a second-ranked Indiana, Calbert Cheaney, needed 10 points to become the Big Ten all-time scoring leader. He scored the first 7, which set the Indiana record as he passed by Steve Alford and Mike McGee to move second on the Big Ten all-time list. Still in the first half, 3 shy of the record. Calbert gets the feed from Damon Bailey for the 3, for the record. And that's Big Ten history. He passes Glenn Rice to become the Big Ten's all-time leading scorer. He had 35 on the night against Northwestern, just 1 shy of his career high. Of course he gets the game ball as Indiana wins easily on this record night. IU also wins a share of the Big Ten Conference title for a record 19th time. The final home game for Malcolm Mackey in the first half. Doug Edwards says no party here. He blocks him. And on the other end, Bob Sura closes it out with a jam. Stayed off to the quick start. Watch the quick hands of Sam Cassell with the steal. And watch this for great hustle. To the floor to save it to Charlie Ward, who played. Ward misses the layup, but who follows Cassell? He got up off the ground to get the hoop. Second half, Tech comes back. And Mackey with the slam to get him close. Down 3. Final seconds, Georgia Tech needs a 3, but Travis Best passes inside to Mackey. A beautiful dunk, but you needed the 3. There were no timeouts left. After the game, State Sam Cassell said he would have blocked the shot, so that was the only thing Travis Best could have done. Georgia Tech loses by 1. They could be in some ACC trouble. Wealth with the ball in the dark uniforms. Sharon Mills. He misses. Laveldra Williams gets the rebound, but Mills takes it right back, takes it to the hoop. He had 19 points and 19 boards. Tulane returns in the second half. Pointer Williams to G.J. Hunter for the J, and Tulane, which has been slumping of late, gets back in it. It goes to overtime, but in the OT, Gene Kisurin. That's Gene Kisurin with a dunk. A big play there. VCU dominates overtime. Tulane blew a 5-point lead in the last 3 minutes of regulation. They blow the game by 12. And Virginia Commonwealth, a lot of people thought they would be out of the tournament because they lost their star Kendrick Warren to an injury. The old North Carolina guy looking good in that Louisville uniform with the dunk inside. This was dominance against Virginia Tech. James Brewer, the 3, rips court on that one at Freedom Hall. Virginia Tech tries to stay close. Nice scoop by Thomas Elliott. Beautiful in traffic, but not enough for the Hokies. Too much for the Cardinals. Dwayne Morton, the pull-up J as Louisville wins 82-61 and wins the Metro Conference title outright. First conference championship since 1990. Greg Minor added 17 points and 10 boards.
To use their muscle right away. Just ask Anthony Hardaway getting knocked down by Alan Jackson. Hardaway with just 2 shots in the first half. Bearcats got a lot of easy hoops like that one from Eric Martin. Then on the break, Nick Van Exel finding Martin for another easy one. 21 for Martin in this game. Larry Finch wondering when his Tigers will play in a big game and win one. Second half, more Bearcats to Martin. Then it's Nick doing his turn, 21 for Van Exel. Bearcats take an easy one, 78-55. Van Exel outshining Hardaway. The man they call Penny scored just 9 points. He turned it over 7 times. So Cincy wins the regular season Great Midwest title. Utah with a chance to wrap up the WAC at UTEP. No, that didn't happen. They lose by 9 despite 29. No, not a happy guy. The game was tied at 49 at the half. Second half, Ryder doing his thing, 32 for him, a 10-1 run to start the half. Then it's Bodie nailing the 3-1 of 5 for him. Rebels up by 1. 16 seconds left. Dave Holland drawing up the play. Here it is. Sunderland with a drive, but he loses the ball. He gets it back and nails the J. Titans lead by 2. The crowd thinks the game is over, but the refs put a second on the clock. Wait a minute, get off the court. There's a second left. UNLV has 1 second left. So Everett Gray, the long inbounds to D-Don Thomas. He shot to win it, comes up short. So the Titans hang on to win it. The final score, 84-83. So in the same week, Vegas loses to New Mexico. Now Fullerton, the Rebels had won their last 9 against the Titans. BYU at the pit with New Mexico still hoping for a shot at the big dance. BYU's Jared Miller doing some damage inside. Cougars trail by 2. New Mexico goes outside, takes the game away. Corey Jenkins, then Greg Brown nailing a 3. Then Kenosha Neves nailing a 3. Roger Reed saying Kenosha Neves. Ike Williams with a 3 from the corner. He had 5 of those. Lobos with 14 threes in the game. That was all they needed. Excitement, yes, excitement at the pit. 79-76. Once again, the Cougars fall at the...
Arizona State playing in Oakland against the Bears. Gerard Haas trying to pass like Kidd. Gets it to Jason Kidd, who leaves it for Lamont Murray, who had 22. Cal up big. Second half, Bozeman and Kidd discussed this play, and a nice play as Kidd off Dwayne Fontana's back, gets it back and lays it in, and then passes it to Rich Branham for the stuff, and Cal running away in this as Kidd handed out numerous assists. KJ Roberts behind the back. Rich Branham, who had 10, and Jason Kidd leads Cal to victory as they blow away Arizona State 91-67. Both teams now 17-8 records, 10-6, and tied. Was ready for one. Tight in the first half, though. Sean Tarver to Ed O'Bannon. UCLA trying to reel in his younger brother from Artesia High School. And then Martin Keene with a block. Keene only had 5. Bruins only up 1 at halftime. Lynn Nance thought things were okay. But second half, all Bruins. Rodney Zimmerman the block. Marquise Burns to O'Bannon, who had 22. And then Mitchell Butler starts it with defense. And he puts it on spin dry here. He had 18, and the Bruins win at 93-64. Tarver had 27. The Bruins reached 20 wins for the 5th straight season. Carolina clinches a tournament appearance as they defeat Winthrop in the Big South. The championship played in Charleston, South Carolina, at East Rutherford, New Jersey. The story within the story. Terry Dahere, who thinking about setting the all-time Big East scoring mark that was set by Chris Mullen. They didn't have the three-point shot in the Big East when he was playing. Dahere takes advantage of that 3, hitting right there against St. John's, and then hitting again, tying Mullen's scoring record. And then his 3rd three-pointer of the game. Terry Dahere sets the record. And presented with the ceremonial game ball being cheered on by the fans. Another milestone in this game, Jerry Walker. Look at his 1,000th point, and that deserves a wow. He somehow got it to go. Luther Wright rejecting David Kane here, and Dahere appropriately finishing it off. He had 36 points, and Seton Hall wins. The Pirates, their first outright Big East championship. Jerry Walker and Arturas Karnisovas had 14 points each. Luther Wright added 13 for P.J. Carlesimo's team. Iowa and Purdue at West Lafayette, and Glenn Robinson, the super sophomore, hitting from three-point range. This guy might break some records if he hangs around college ball. He gave Purdue an 8-point lead at halftime. Second half, A.C. Earl going to rally Iowa, swatting Matt Waddell's shot, which starts the fast break. And Kenyon Murray finishes to get Iowa within 3. But Glenn Robinson from Quanzo Martin, look at this slam, a one-handed stick. And then Matt Painter with a high handoff and a good look at how this guy can finish at 30 points, 12 rebounds. Robinson leads Gene Cady and Purdue to the victory against a team that leads the nation in rebounding margin. The fans going crazy, go nuts. Ronnie Battle with one of his 7 three-pointers, but Tommy Joe Eagles observing. Tigers down 2 with 2 seconds left. The inbounds pass, Wesley Person, that's Chuck's little brother, hits his 6th three-pointer of the game. And Auburn upsets Arkansas. I tried to say those schools together. That would be Aubursaw. But Auburn wins by 1. Battle scoring 28. Another upset, Duquesne ends Xavier's 9-game winning streak as you check out other scores from the top 25.
Against the #1 Tar Heels, whom they beat by 14 a month ago. Duke falls down by 10 at halftime. Nobody there to stop Eric Montrose's slam. And the Carolina defense slaps Duke around, literally. Hurley, by now, says Montrose. Duke goes 5.5 without a field goal. Then the Blue Devil run, anchored by Thomas Hill. His steal, his dunk, and then his turn from way downtown. Bang. Grant Hill, though, can only cheer the 10-zip run. With he on the sidelines, the Hills go back inside with impunity. Antonio Lang collars Montrose. They call him for an intentional. Dean's kids then sink into the four corners, and Donald Williams arises for 2 of his 27. And then to add insult to cliched injury. Off the Reese drive, the dish out to George Lynch. Thomas Hill up and then get a whiff of my shoe. Williams leads all with 27, so the #1 Heels go from 14-point losers in the air at Stanford. The Stoudemire oop to Ed Stokes. And bang. But Stanford stays in the ballgame. Brent Williams from way downtown. They're tied at 37. 6 seconds to go in the half. Marcus Lally stops, and finally Marcus Lally pops. Stanford shoots 62% in the first half. They lead at the break 45-44. The third-rated team in the nation is annoyed. Second half, Corey Williams picks off the inbound to Stoudemire with the Damon's Omen and the basket. And Zona Coast, Rayos, 19 points, 15 boards for him, to the utter delight of Lute Olson. Also for Arizona, Ed Stokes did career high 24 on Kruger in Florida. Maybe not. Check out Stacy Poole, the big splash, NFL. Florida by 1, whereupon the Wildcats get it together. Jamal Mashburn, Kentucky 45-37 at the break. They keep it going then in the second. Mashburn to Andre Riddick make it 57-42. But the Gators do not go gently into that good night. Dan Cross, that's why they call it the crossover. Kentucky by 4, and then Rick Pitino falls right on his assistant. His team didn't. Travis Ford to Dale Brown from way downtown. Bang, the only basket the Cats got in the final 5-13. Still, Kruger and company drop it by 8, sealing the deal. A dozen Kentucky free throws over the final 5.
A place where MSU had claimed victories on their 2 previous occasions. How would they fare? First half, Ray Jackson, Chris Webber, look out below, and then Juwan Howard will take the shot. Webber grabs the loose ball and then finds Jackson. Webber's pumped. Judd Heathcote is bummed. His Spartans trail by 3 at the break. Spartans come back behind Sean Respert. Eric Snow to Respert. Respert at 27. Back and forth all day. Then it's Respert inside to Mike Poplawski. You can't stop Mike Poplawski. You can only hope to contain him. We're tied at 76. Timeout, says Coach Fisher. 11 seconds to go. Krish Wyszynski. Webber blocks it. Dwayne Stevens. Webber gets a piece of it. Michigan would get a last shot. Jalen Rose leans in, draws a little contact, but not enough to get the call. And we go into overtime. Webber says, come on, guys. Overtime on our home floor. We got to beat these guys. Webber, Howard, victory. Michigan celebrates 87-81. A little bit of a, dreamy sequence there. The Wolverines hitting 9 free throws in overtime. Michigan still has games left with Illinois strong to the hole. Kansas sporting the trap, gets the turnover. Adonis Jordan takes it in, and Patrick Ritchie with the follow. Eddie Sutton's team trailed by 4 at halftime. Big Country gets hot. Bryant Reeves. I said Bryant Reeves. I'll say it one more time. Bryant Reeves had 28. State by 6. But exclamation point brings him back to 3. Good. Kansas by 1. 5 seconds to go. A chance to win it. Oklahoma State cannot get off a good shot. And Kansas goes into Stillwater and goes out with a victory. And Bryant Reeves, what a great year it's been for him, leading the conference in rebounds, points, and field goal percentage. Chattanooga. First half, Tim Brooks to Gary Robb. UTC on a 12-2 run. Still in the first half, Robb puts UTC up by 20 at halftime, and then Brooks to Robb. 16 on the night. UTC wins it, and they're number 1 tonight, at least in the Southern Conference, as they pick up the victory 86-75. The Moccasins avenging last year's championship. Coppin State, the favorites, and they look like it. Melvin Roberts, the spin and the dish. Stephen Stewart had 24, and Jeff Jones didn't want to watch. Coppin State, 6-point halftime lead. Michael Thomas, the tremendous follow-up slam. Coppin State pumped. They're tourney-bound, defeating Delaware State by the final of 80-53. Coppin State with the nation's longest winning streak at 16 games. In the Southland title game, seen here on ESPN, Northeast Louisiana, Tim Brando's alma mater. Need I say any more?
With 3 senior reserves starting for their last regular season home game, Louisville fell behind 14-zip. Then Clifford Rozier led them back on a 19-9 run. And then for Louisville, it's Dwayne Morton from way downtown, etc. He does it all the time. Leads Division I shooting 55.4 from Deepville. Monty Williams, the one-man team for the Irish. James Brewer, the one-man jam for the Redbirds, off his own steal and up and at him sweetly and uncontestedly. Louisville comes back quickly to win 83-68. Said John McLeod after the Irish gave back the game they led 14-0. I would have felt better if it had been 28-0. The only bright spot, Monty Williams' career high 34. At the Cap Center, Jim Calhoun's Huskies, having lost 2 straight. Georgetown working to make it 3. Dwayne Spencer rejects Kevin Ali. That leads John Jacques to the break, and the shovel pass to Robert Churchwell. Soft as Churchwell, Dan. Is by 38-25 at the break. The Huskies desperately rallying afterwards. Cavallari puts them up by 1, but then Jacques, who's also known as John Athletic Supporter, goes from way, way nearby G-Town prevails. Here's Jean-Jacques from way downtown. Bang. So mesmerized by the name was I. Donyell Marshall's face tells the story of that game. The Huskies' hopes growing thin. Despite the win, G-Town still finishes 8-10. They haven't been that bad since '74. 15-11 overall, though several of their victories came against clubs of the quality of the Columbia Record Club and the Hair Club for men. At Clemson, Tigers and Georgia Tech, and Chris Whitney and Devin Gray. There's no gray area there. Shutout near the basket. Tech goes way downtown in the second half. Travis, today's best. They're tied at 34. Look at the bullet pass. Drew Barry to James Forrest. G-Tech is up. Bullet pass, and that's that. Then Clemson's too close to the Forest to see the threes. James goes right through him. Tech wins 66-59. Its first victory at Clemson since '86. Forrest's 18 points make the difference. Best adds 15. Tech's now 16-10 overall. Gray had 17 in losing cause for Clemson. At Lincoln, would Billy Tubbs drink from the bitter cup of road defeat? It was proffered to him by Nebraska, and Jamar Johnson, his steal and his slam. Nebraska leads by 6 at the half. Johnson to Jaron Boone. And over to Eric Piatkowski, the Big Red, 46-40, and their coach Danny Nee is pumped, but not as much as the Sooner defense, which arises in the second half. The turnover and then the Angelo Hamilton jam. But Johnson scores 8 in the last 2 minutes from way downtown. Bang. Oklahoma 94-83. Johnson finishes with 19 points. Nebraska finishes with 34 free throws in the second half, of which they made 25. In the Atlantic 10 Conference, the quarterfinals of the tournament there, career-high 19 for serial scorer Derek Kellogg, who snaps, crackles, and pops. Come on down. $200 billion. You can't get a better seat than that. Rick Brunson feeding Eddie Jones with a slam to finish the break for Temple, the alma mater. Then Aaron McKee, Atlantic 10 Player of the Year, hits a bunch of threes. Temple by 17. Bang, at halftime. In the second half, well, we've seen this before. Brunson again to Jones again for the slam again. Temple rolls easily 80-53. I understand I underestimated Bill Kite. It's $250 billion. Temple wins this one huge. Watch far side by the circle. A St. Joe's player is calling time, but over here, Bernard Blunt didn't see it, takes the jumper anyway and hit it, and got fouled and made the foul shot, putting Bob Wenzel and the Knights down by 1. So he gives the ball to Steve Worthy to win from the corner. Nothing but the metallurgy of the rim. So St. Joe's advances to the semis because Bernard Blunt did not recognize his teammate's timeout call. Yowie. Blunt finishes also with a game-high. 2
Privateers eliminated South Alabama Saturday in the Sun Belt Tournament, and they did so without Conference Player of the Year Irvin Johnson. Irvin in the lineup Sunday night against Arkansas State, but he was not the major factor. How about Rainey Mason? Good. UNO leads by 4. 32 minutes of action for Irvin. And he shows that the sprained ankle is okay. He had 15 points. Privateers building an 8-point lead, and Reggie Garrett leading UNO with 18. They win it comfortably by the final of 73-59. I said 73-59. The Indians outshot 51-35% from the floor. Garrett had 18. Irvin Johnson, 15 points and 9 rebounds. South Alabama and Western Kentucky facing off. Mark Bell, the three-pointer. High score with 23. South Alabama ahead by 1 midway through the second half. Darnell Mee says me. And he did it with 8 consecutive points. Western Kentucky on a 13-2 run. They advanced to the Sun Belt Conference Finals with the 83-73 victory. Now they will hook up with Mr. Johnson. The rest of the scores, American meeting James Madison in the Colonial semifinals, and Lefty gets another victory. Still to come on the show, we take you up and under and over. We pump you up with today's best when the big show returns in a